NFL player props here on PrizePicks for Sunday, December 10th. Before I get started, you guys, take a look in the description below this video. Hop into our premium Discord at $9.30 per month. It's where I post all the plays I'm making on PrizePicks. We also have other premium cappers in there as well. They post all their plays, research, and analysis. Overall, super positive community in there. Everyone just trying to help each other cash. I also want to mention I'm not a gambling expert, and this is not financial advice. These simply plays I'm personally looking at making, hopefully giving you guys some insight and analysis to make your own player prop decisions here. Again, no one's pressing submit on those parlays other than yourselves. But let's get right into it, you guys. Want to get this video out as soon as possible. Pretty decent slate overall here. Let's not waste any time. Let's just get right into it. So the first play here is going to be a fantasy score. I'm targeting Drake London, wide receiver for the Falcons. I like his over 10 fantasy score here. His home versus away splits and just the Atlanta Falcons offense in general, so much better at home here. We look at Drake London. He's over this line in 3 of his last 5 games. With overs against the Saints, the Titans, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the matchup he has today. 11.4 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers earlier this season on the road. But we look at Drake London, right? We look at his PPR fantasy score game log. Every time he's gone over this line, except for obviously the first game of the season where he saw, I think, 1 target, has been at home, right? New Orleans, Houston, Green Bay, and Washington. He's gone over this line in 4 of those games, all at home. And he had, again, one of his overs on the road came against Tampa Bay earlier this season where he had 6 catches for 54 yards. So basically, all we need for this is 5 catches for 54 yards for Drake London to hit the over on this line. And I just think he can do it in a variety of ways. I am taking fantasy score here with the potential that touchdown upside here for Drake London as well. Like, obviously, if he scores a touchdown, this is an easy over. But we look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Over the last 8 weeks, they are allowing the 7th most fantasy points. Or sorry, this is wide receiver. This is quarterback. Over the last 8 weeks, they're giving up the 3rd most fantasy points to wide receivers. Just getting absolutely dominated in their secondary. The 4th most yards per throw. Overall, 2nd most targets. Total yards, the most total yards to wide receivers just over the last 8 weeks, 1,600 total receiving yards to wide receivers. So it's an absolute great spot for Drake London. Like I said, his home versus away splits are pretty insane. Like I said, his 4 overs, 14, 14, 18, and 21 all have come at home. If you look at Desmond Ridder splits, you look at Bijan Robinson splits as well. Entire Atlanta offense is just so much better at home, in the dome, in the turf. Weather should not be any sort of factor here at all. We look at other wide receivers, right? We look at their game logs this season versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different wide receivers hit the over on this 10.5 line. And that was actually Drake London was the lowest guy on this list, and that was on the road. 6 catches for 54 yards on the road, where, again, we know the Falcons offense is just weaker and a lot more stagnant. Playing back at home now, I like Drake London's chances a lot here to have a monster game. I'm honestly projecting Drake London for like 6 catches for 85 plus yards in this one, so should be pretty easily over this line in my opinion at 10. We obviously do get that push potential as well. I like Drake London a lot here. The second play, definitely an interesting one here, and I just think a little bit too low for his type of player. It's going to be Cooper Kupp, over 4.5 receptions. Now, I know the weather is going to be a concern here. Looking at Roto Grinders, he says, I expect to see rain in Baltimore, but again, we're looking at the potential for a heavy band of rain just east of Baltimore and another heavy batch just west, with the stadium itself getting the best possible outcome, off and on light to moderate rain and winds, gusts around 20 miles per hour. Again, I've lowered the risk some based on the model shift, but I still expect rain and at least breezy conditions. I think weather will be a factor here, but I think weather, especially rain, I think it's put too much into some of these odds that when they get put out, thinking weather is going to be a factor specifically. But like, this is a buy low for Cooper Kupp at 4.5. Like, this line going back to last season was at 9.5, 8.5 every single game, and I think now he's finally starting to get healthy, right? It's been a while. He's injured to begin the season, was on IR, starting to get slowly but surely get healthy here. And we look at Cooper Kupp, okay? We look at his game log last season. Just last week, he had 8 targets, had the highest target per share on the team, ran a total of 35 routes, which was the season high, aside for his first game back. So we see against Philly, which again, pass funnel Philly, but had 8 targets for 6 catches last week against a very stout Cleveland defense. He faces Baltimore here, who definitely can hide their coverages and mix up their coverages, which I think is going to benefit Cooper Kupp as far as getting open a little bit more than Puka Nacua. Just him being a rookie, Cooper Kupp obviously has a lot more experience, especially against a veteran defense like the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm expecting Matthew Stafford to look his way. Like 4.5, 5 receptions for Cooper Kupp in this one. We look at Matthew Stafford's. Let's just take a look at Matthew Stafford's pass attempts. Where is pass attempts at? Yeah, Stafford's pass attempts is at 31.5. So like, and Lamar's at 26.5. So Vegas still projecting, you know, the quarterbacks and the teams from this game to be able to pass the ball. So at 4.5 just seems a little bit too low for a player like Cooper Kupp. Like I said, his snap counts have been increasing. Again, he played week 9, 11, and 12 under 90% of snaps. Saw 98% of snaps last week. Again, I just really think he's fully healthy. Seeing 8 targets for 6 catches last week against a super tough Baltimore defense. Like, if we look at Baltimore's defense, right, over the last 8 weeks, the Baltimore defense right here, giving it the 10th fewest receptions to wide receivers, but the Browns are just right here, and Cooper Kupp had 6 receptions against them. So it's not like the matchup scares me too much. I think it's Cooper Kupp at the end of the day, and Matthew Stafford loves to target him. We just look at wide receivers game log this season versus the Ravens. We just saw Keenan Allen have 16 targets for 14 catches. We saw Amari Cooper here, 9 targets, 6 catches. Elijah Moore in that same game, 7 targets, 5 catches. And even down here, Jackson Smith-Njigba, 7 targets, 6 catches. Marquise Brown, 9 targets, 6 catches. So there is opportunity here for Cooper Kupp. I think it's absolute buy low here. We're talking about a guy we look at this season. Like I said, when he sees those significant amounts of targets, he's obviously going to be able to catch the ball. He's got games like low target games here of 5 and 1. And then we just go back to the last 2 seasons before this one, right? For Cooper Kupp, last season, 19, 15, 14, 9, 12, 8, 10, 6 targets, right? Look at these, 7, 7, 8, 8, 11, 13, and 14. We go back to the year before that, which he had his monster year. He only went under this line, or actually didn't go under this line once in that entire season. Like, look at these lines for Cooper Kupp here. So it's absolute buy low in my opinion. I think the weather is attributing to this discount here in my opinion, and then also just I think Vegas thinking that Puka Nacua is taking such a big impact in target share from Cooper Kupp, when I mean Puka's under his 5 receptions line in his last 5 games, and we get Cooper Kupp at 4.5, Puka at 5. So 2 plays for this YouTube video. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about these two. Drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and as always, let's cash.